Hi, this is Shu with a review of a brand new Puma basketball shoe. It's called the double disc. Yes, quite literally, it has two disc lockdown mechanisms. I've complained about the Nike Fast Fit and the Adapt system because they always had the inability to cover all areas and provide a firm lockdown all over. And they've only had like 2 or 3 wires that lock down right here around the ankle area. And over here, it was kind of loosey-goosey, or it will just be tightened all together, so you're not getting the kind of customized fit that you would get with shoelaces. But this time, I've always said that they should have 2 separate zones for 2 separate lockdowns so you could adjust them accordingly. And Nike did not do that, but Puma was working on this system even before I coined that idea. So congratulations, Puma. I do applaud you in your fast, speedy adaptation to one-up Nike in terms of the laceless lockdown system. Of course, it's good that they've had this concept realized and out in the market early. So the top part locks down these 2 little areas, these loops. So for this little part, upper part, and for the lower part right above the toe box, and it also connects all the way to the heel, so it provides an additional lockdown. The disc system was first introduced in the early 90s. It had a fancy ad campaign. It was a pretty pricey shoe. I couldn't afford it because I was a college freshman who had to work a lot of side jobs just to afford 2 basketball shoes a month on lucky months. So I always envied it and tried some of my friends when they had it on. It's a huge disc, and it did provide a lockdown, but it was not too bad. It was actually better than the Fast Fit or the Adapt system that we see in Nike basketball. So Puma was ahead of the game in that sense. But there is a downside to the disc system compared to the Fast Fit or the Adapt system. One, let's just see how it works. Yeah, it's very loose, but as I lock them, you can see it firmly, just really, really working and getting the job done. And for the heel and forefoot area, it also gets the job done, but it's not as visible, it's not as impressive as the one that I just demonstrated on this upper part. There's a limit to it when you definitely need to have a little bit more lockdown here and to the heel. So yeah, not much. And worst of all, this isn't the type of lockdown you will be getting. Once you have your foot in there, and when you have to tighten against the resistance that's provided, you can only go so far. And the strength you need to twist it when there's a lot of resistance, there's really not much you can do. So the locking mechanism does not work as well as ordinary shoelaces. You can't just pull it and exert force and tighten it and custom fit the shoe to your foot. It cannot lock down as firmly as it should for a performance wear like for basketball. So that's one problem. Another problem is that the fit of the shoe is a little weird, and they only come in full sizes, so you can't go half a size up or half a size down. Personally, I felt that this one I had to go up at least half a size up, but they did not have the option, so I tried my ordinary size 9 and size 10. 9 is a little bit too narrow, 10 is a little bit too wide. There's a little bit of an extra space on top of the toe box here, so it would have been nice if the lace had come down all the way down here. But even if it did, it's not going to be able to lock down as much as it should due to the limitations of the strength and effort you can put in once you have your foot inside the shoe. So for those who actually have a nice one-to-one fit to the shoe as it is without the lock lace system, without the locking system locked up to its full potential, then you can actually wear this and provide a little bit more of a fastening, then you can have fun with it. But if you have such a shape of a foot where you actually need to lock it down drastically, this is not going to work for you because it's not going to provide that much of an additional lockdown from the initial wear. So maybe what they could have done is what Nike did with Fast Fit is that you can actually pull it. The pulling action doesn't require a lot of strength, and it has sort of like a fulcrum or leverage concept where you can actually get more done with a simple tug. Maybe they could actually have some kind of a wrench or some kind of system where you can just plug it in and really twist it up so you can really tighten it up. So that's a problem. Unlocking is pretty cool and easy. Instead of pulling something, all you need to do is go the anti-clockwise direction and it just pops up easily. The opposite direction of where you locked it, and it just opens up really easily. So the opening and release is good, but the lockdown is very minimal. There's very minimal lockdown. As soon as it forms to your foot, you can't lock down any further. You can't tighten it. You just get a good fit. So that's a problem. So Puma, you need to provide some additional tools to tighten it, or you need to come up with other ways to actually have less effort, more tightening. The material all over is sort of like a really thick neoprene material all around. So if you like that plush feel all around your shoe, you will like it. But if you want something breathable and light, this is not the shoe for you. There's good additional padding all around the ankle and the heel, so that's nice. Very sturdy heel cup here, or heel counter inside. The outsole is good. Puma always seems to try some new patterns that actually work and not too sensitive to dust. I think this is the better among the Puma products in terms of traction, but I always do wish they would have the traction pattern go all the way to the medial and the lateral sides instead of just stopping at the core. This is very similar to the Kyrie 7 patterns, except it's a little bit more warped and a little bit more swirling. It's got a good little pivot point. I wish they could have done a little bit more swirling here as well. There's a nice little anti-inversion plate here. The foam, it's not similar to the ones they've used in the All Pro. The All Pro had a bit of a puck of a boost-like energy foam here in the heel, which you could really feel. And overall, the foam was nice. This one is just all foam. They did not specify which foam, but I believe they would have used the latest or some new advanced type of foam. It feels really good. Even without the insole, you can actually feel the cushioning is just as good as the All Pro or the Clyde Hardwood. So that's tremendous. And the insole is also pretty amazing. It feels like the aerated Skechers foam cushioning that they've introduced. It's kind of like Ortholite, but it's a little bit more crispy, a little bit more dense. It's sort of like a light PU type of resistance, but it feels like Ortholite, so it's got the best of both worlds. So this is one of the best insoles you could find out there. If you put this in your other Puma shoes, you could feel an added sensational cushioning. And with this amazing midsole and this, it's arguably the best, without argument, it's the best Puma cushioning setup that's been introduced up to date. So good job, Puma, on that. But the weight is awful. This size 10 weighs around 525 grams, so that's pretty heavy. Yeah, it's Foamposite level heavy. So for a modern performance wear, that's definitely a no-no. And this little counter, I think it's designed to provide some sort of an anti-inversion support, but it doesn't really work. So they could have done something a little bit better to provide some additional support to prevent ankle rollovers. It's not too bad, but it could be better. The price point is another huge issue. It's I think it's selling at over $200, so definitely something to consider. Great cushioning for considering previous Puma models, but a little bit heavy. It's an innovation. It's an innovative product that's worth keeping on the shelves, but as a performance wear, it doesn't deliver on the lockdown, and it's a little bit heavy. The fit is another issue because you don't get half sizes.